There's also talk of a coup today in Venezuela, where tens of thousands of pro- and anti-government demonstrators filled the streets of the capital. The bitterly divided country has seen weeks of bloody marches that have claimed at least 9 lives. As Christina Stevens reports, people around the world, including here in Canada, are calling for an end to the violence.
In Toronto, this was just one of a half-dozen protests across the country. Chanting and shouting, demonstrators were intent on shining the spotlight on what's happening in Venezuela.
I'm here today because I'm sorry. I want freedom for my country.
Right now, as we speak, my brothers and my nephews and nieces are on the street, and I don't know if they are going to die today, like others have been dying all these days. So it's hard.
Tens of thousands of protesters have once again taken to the streets of Venezuela's capital to demonstrate against their socialist government, and there were renewed fears of violence as pro-government supporters staged their own rallies in the deeply divided country.
Del golpe continuado.
Meanwhile, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro says he wants open talks with the U.S. after accusing them of conspiring against him. 3 U.S. diplomats were expelled on charges they were stirring up violent protests. Protesters are demanding the president's departure and say his supporters are using indiscriminate violence to stifle dissent. Both sides blame each other for murder and brutality. Widespread, largely student-led protests began February 12th, mainly to address a growing economic crisis. Venezuela's inflation rate last year was over 50%. And there are also concerns over high crime rates. The country's jailed opposition leader, Leopoldo Lopez, is urging supporters to keep demonstrating peacefully. Freedom! Now living in Toronto, Lietzka Wolf used to work with him and is scared he may be tortured in jail or worse.
And I'm very concerned for him and for all his family who are going through a very tough moment right now.
Protesters here say media restrictions are making it hard to get what they say is the truth out of Venezuela, but they want the world to know because they want international help. Christina Stevens, Global News, Toronto.